Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. Guys, we're taking a look today at some big trophy winners. We're going to be going over the Hart Trophy, the Vezina Trophy, the Calder Trophy, and the Norris Trophy. We'll be looking at the voting polls, obviously who won the awards. We'll be looking at all of that in this video. So, we're going to start things off looking at the Hart Trophy voting. Now, there were a couple of guys that were pretty high up in this voting, and they're not much of a surprise. Obviously, Connor Mcdavid was the unanimous vote at the end of the day, with 1,000 points. He got all the first place ballots, so you knew Connor McDavid was winning this. But Austin Matthews also got a lot of attention. Nathan MacKinnon, Sidney Crosby, and Brad Marchand to round out the top five. There were a couple guys. A couple guys that got some interest that I liked. You saw Sebastian Aho get in there. You saw UC Saros actually get a decent amount of votes. Adam Fox, which is interesting because he got one third place vote. That's interesting. And obviously guys like Huberdeau, you saw Hellebuck, Mitch Marner. I wonder if that was just a joke. Yeah. Never mind. So congrats to Connor McDavid. Again, he's the best. He is the most valuable player to not only the Edmonton Oilers, but the entire NHL, and it's not even close. I love Nathan MacKinnon, but again, it's just totally different. He is an absolute animal. Now, we're going on to the Norris Trophy voting, which is the best. Now, here's the question. This award, and I've heard other people talk about this, is the Norris Trophy the best defenseman in the league this season, or the best defenseman, period, that's playing? Is it just based off of one season, or is it who is the best defenseman, in general, most valuable defenseman in the league? Is it the most offensive defenseman? Is it the most defensive defenseman? We've had this discussion for years. I feel like since I've started this channel, I've mentioned that there is no clear definition of what the Norris Trophy winner is. And this year, the final three was Victor Hedman, Cale Makar, and Adam Fox. And I gotta be honest, I knew Victor Hedman wasn't going to win. Not because he won last year, and not because the Tampa Bay Lightning are just so good, he's just only a tiny piece of the team. No, that's not the case. He had a down season from last year. I don't know if it was because of injuries, or just in general, he just had a lesser season. Or let's be honest, the Tampa Bay Lightning are so deep, any of those three lines they could throw out there. So maybe Victor Hedman got less minutes because they could really throw out any pairing. So he's not getting those, close to 30 minutes, close to 20, 25 minutes a night that maybe some of these other defensemen were getting at points. So that's something to keep in mind. Cale Makar, kind of the same thing, but he just didn't play enough games. I think that was the big thing for Cale Makar. I think a lot of people could have made the argument he was really close in that category, but I had a feeling it was going to be the young Adam Fox of the New York Rangers. He had a really good season for the Rangers, and if it weren't for him, I think Ranger fans would be more upset with how this season went. You kind of saw a little bit of a regression from guys like Georgiev and Shesterkin in between the pipes. You wanted to make the playoffs. That didn't end up happening, so at least you have a bright spot in Adam Fox moving forward. And I think a lot of people didn't like Adam Fox potentially winning this trophy because he's only 23 years old. What has he shown to the league that he is one of the best defensemen in the league? Only in his second NHL season. So again, there's different ways you can make arguments that these guys shouldn't have won or should have won. At the end of the day, Adam Fox wins the trophy, pretty close to Cale Makar. So obviously, there's a lot of value placed on Adam Fox, maybe playing better on a New York Rangers team, specifically a blue line that was not good this year. And maybe they looked at the fact that the team wasn't that good and they just put that much more emphasis on what Adam Fox did this season. A couple of guys we saw in there. Let's go. The Islander blood, the top two pairing defensemen for the Islanders, Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech. They each got a vote. You see guys like Jeff Petrie, Devontae's. I miss him very much, former Islander. Jacob Chikrin, Chris Letang. Mackenzie Weegar was very high in the voting. I thought that was interesting. Darnell Nurse of Edmonton. Shea Theodore. I wish he was still in Anaheim. But there were a couple really good defensemen in this category, and you definitely have to give a lot of credit to Adam Fox for winning it. All right, so the reason I'm wearing the Vegas jersey, yes, I'm wearing it because it is a very nice looking jersey, and it looks pretty good with the flow, not going to lie. But other than that, the 7 finalists were Mike Smith of the Oilers, Juuse Saros of Nashville, Semyon Varlamov of the Islanders, Connor Hellebuyck of Winnipeg, and then the final 3, Philip Grubauer of Colorado, Andrei Vasilevskiy from Tampa, and Marc Andre Fleury of the Vegas Golden Knights. And we all know who ended up winning this trophy. It was Marc Andre Fleury, getting 14 first place votes. It's interesting to see how this trophy is given out. Again, the best goaltender in the league this season. Overall, still don't know the exact ruling for that. But Philip Grubauer, you had a feeling he wasn't going to win because he's really struggled in the postseason. I love Grubauer. I remember watching him in Hershey and damn, he's got a sick name. He's going to play in the Chell. Here he is playing in Colorado, on who a lot of people had as a Cup favorite. So Philip Grubauer, yeah, it's disappointing, but again, that's just kind of how it went. He did not have a great playoffs. A huge reason that the Avs did not go as far in the playoffs as they probably would have liked. Andrei Vasilevskiy, it's interesting to see how the voting changes for him. He gets 99 points, the second most for the Vezina trophy behind Flower. But somehow, when it comes to the Hart trophy, he gets basically no love, which, how different of a trophy is that? I think that's a little bit not giving Vasilevskiy enough credit. I think a lot of people, especially in this playoffs, it kind of defends them because there were a couple games here where Vasi was not at his best. And some people wonder, is he really that good? Or is it, he's just playing on a really good team and they outscore their opponents? And I think a lot of people are still stuck to that stigma. And again, you see stats where Vasilevskiy in, clinching series, in terms of clinching a series, his ability to get a shutout in those games. We saw that in Game 7 against the Islanders. We saw that in Game 6 against the Carolina Hurricanes in the last round. In Game 5, actually. And then we also saw that in Game 6 against the Florida Panthers in the first round. So, obviously, Vasilevskiy knows when it's time to step up. So, you have to give him a little bit of credit there. And Marc Andre Fleury, this may be his last season in Vegas, depending on how things go in Vegas this summer. It seems like they like Robin Lehner, specifically Pete DeBoer, who is the head coach. So Marc Andre Fleury may have played his last game in Vegas. And for him to go out with this trophy, it honestly helps the Golden Knights in terms of if they decide they want to move him this summer. So congrats to Marc Andre Fleury. Very well deserved. Ever since your awkward hand, your little hand wave when you got drafted by Vegas, I have to say I hated you when you were in Pittsburgh as an Islander fan, but a lot of respect to you. And then looking at some of the other guys, Juuse Saros really turned it on at the end of the season. I feel like for the past 3 years, I talk about Juuse Saros. When is he going to become the starter in Nashville? He's going to take over Pekka Rinne, and we finally saw that at the end of this season. And if it weren't for the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have basically steamrolled everybody but the New York Islanders, Juuse Saros had a really good run this year. And for him to get in the final 6 in terms of Vezina voting, really impressive. And then for the Oilers, Mike Smith somehow gets 2 votes, which he had a really bad playoffs. So I don't know exactly what happened there. You see Varlamov, he had a really great season for the Islanders. Again, another goaltender like Marc Andre Fleury that may be replaced this summer by Ilya Sorokin. So again, interesting how that worked out. And then to cap it all off, we've got the Calder Trophy voting. And we made a video about this actually when they announced the finalists, the top 3. We talked about who I think was going to win. And without a surprise, Minnesota Wild's Kirill Kaprizov wins this trophy. Not by necessarily a landslide, but he pretty much dominated, getting 99 out of the 100 number 1 votes for the Calder Trophy. 1 vote was given to Jason Robertson. He played so well this year, and he did get a little bit of love in the Hart Trophy conversation as most valuable player. But Kirill Kaprizov has absolutely changed the franchise in Minnesota. He has to stay in Minnesota. He has completely changed the scoring dynamic of this team, and I really like what we're seeing from Kaprizov, what he did this season, and what we'll see from him in the future. As a Minnesota Wild fan, you absolutely have to be excited for what the future may be in store here for the young Russian forward. Jason Robertson getting a little bit of love, the second ballot, and then after Alex Nedeljkovic, who had a pretty good run for himself. He did not get any first place votes. He did get 4 second place votes, but the majority of people had him as a third placed goaltender in terms of the trophy. Josh Norris got a lot of love as well. Igor Shesterkin, Vitek Vanacek, some Russian goalies there. Yegor Sharangovich of the Devils. We also saw Ilya Sorokin. Let's go. Good stuff there. So, again, a bunch of guys got some love. Capo Kakinen of the Wild, Artem Zub of Ottawa, Kevin Lankinen of Chicago, Keandre Miller of the Rangers. I mean, there's a lot of guys here that put up a pretty nice campaign for themselves. But at the end of the day, Kaprizov was the favorite to win this trophy, and I'm not too surprised. And then that is it. So, to recap real quick, Hart Trophy. Most valuable player to his team, Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers wins that one. Congratulations. The Norris Trophy, best defenseman in the league for the season. I guess that's what we're going with. Best defenseman goes to the New York Rangers, Adam Fox. And continuing, the best goaltender in the league, the Vezina Trophy, Marc Andre Fleury of the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Rookie Trophy, Rookie of the Year, the Calder Trophy, goes to Kirill Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the NHL Awards this season? Who do you think deserve these trophies? I think this was pretty well represented. Besides the Norris Trophy, obviously, Adam Pelech got robbed of Best Defenseman in the League, but there's always next year, right? Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.